Ari Fleischer, I was surprised that the response in the room was flat. It seemed a bit tepid, but you and I both remember back in the 90s when Bill Clinton would deliver speeches that didn't go over well in the chamber. Actually, they ended up being very popular with American people. Could this be one of those speeches?
Well, I suppose it could be. It's too early to know. I'll tell you this. I got an email this morning from Barack Obama, and it says, "We do big things." That was a nice email to me. But that's what I'm afraid of. He did a lot of big things, and the question is, did the big things work, or did they make our economy and our deficit get worse? And that's what speeches are ultimately all about, are the policies that are followed up with. And let me take you back to his 2009 State of the Union, in which he said, referring to a summit meeting he held, "I pledged to cut the deficit in half by the end of my first term in office." This is the problem. We have so much uncontrolled spending. We have a stimulus of $800 billion that should have kept the unemployment rate under 8%. It did not. My fear is the big things he's doing are making things worse.
Well, Sherrod Brown, the president didn't bring a calculator last night. He didn't get specific. And a lot of people last night analyzing the speech in the media said the numbers don't add up. Is this more thematic, and we'll worry about the specifics later?
Well, they always are in the State of the Union. They're rarely A, B, C, D, E, F we're going to do. They're bigger picture. But, no offense, but to hear Ari blame President Obama, look at his 2009 State of the Union after his Bush administration left us with 700,000 lost jobs the first month and a downward spiraling economy with huge budget deficits. 10 years ago, we had a surplus. The Bush administration left us with the biggest deficit in American history, and then he's blaming Barack Obama for doing big things.
Senator, let me ask you this.
Barack Obama's doing some big good things, not driving us down into this budget. I don't want to go back to that.
Do you think the president is going to be able to cut the deficit in half in his first term as he promised?
No, I don't think he can, but I don't think anybody...
But he promised he would. He said he would.
Well, he did, and a lot of people promised some things, and he didn't know, none of us knew the economy was as bad as it was on January 20th, 2009. We didn't know how big the deficit was. We didn't know how bad the fundamentals were. We didn't know how bad the economy were. And for one of the major players in the Bush administration to lay that on Barack Obama, I mean, I didn't want to be partisan this morning, but I hear him out of the gate talking like that. Let's figure out how to work together.
Because, Senator, it does come down to policy decisions that you make, and it was a diplomatic speech. He did position himself in the middle.
We saved the auto industry. We saved the financial services industry.
And my point is, it's been now 3 speeches the president's given. In every one of them, he said jobs is our #1 priority, yet the job situation has not improved. We've had the highest unemployment. It's never been this high for this long since the 1930s. My point is, at a certain point in time, you have to say, are the things we're doing working? And my point is, I don't think what the president's doing with all the spending is working. And what we did not hear last night was a real emotional emphasis on the threat and the danger of a deficit and the debt. Most of the emotion of the president was on the new spending programs, more stimulus, more spending, not on how urgent it is to reduce spending and reduce the debt. That's what I heard was missing last night, that emotional emphasis. And as you know, Senator, only a president can get Congress to move on these things. You really need presidential leadership and presidential investment. I question whether that investment is there.
Well, I think the emotion the president showed was for people who are suffering in this country, and it's all about jobs. I care about the deficit, the budget deficit. I care about the trade deficit. I care about the infrastructure deficit in this country. I think the president's addressing those mostly in the right way, but it's all about job creation. If we follow the Republican 30% cut in all these federal agencies, it's going to hurt people, and it's going to send the economy down and making the Bush years look like a good economy at the end. We can't do that.
Senator, we know you have to go.